Rajan Pandey now joins us. He's with People's Pulse. I'll show you the People's Pulse data. It's on your screen right now. 133 to 159 for the NDA. Gadbandhan at 75 to 101. The Jan Swaraj party of Prashant Kishore between 0 and 5. This is People's Pulse. Pollster Rajan Pandey now joins our poll team. Mr. Pandey, welcome. Can you explain to those watching on NDTV what you picked up during your poll on the ground and how have you come to this assessment that the NDA seems comfortably placed to form the government once again in Bihar?
See, for the first, I would like to say that this election is very different from the past elections that happened in, I should say, last 20 years. Now, if we compare it in terms of various indicators, let's say issues. So 2005 was a vote for change. Nitish Kumar was coming resurgent. 2010 was the vote for continuity of that change. And then 2015 was a very different election. It was an election when a resurgent BJP, which had triumphed nationally on the political landscape, was vis-a-vis Lalu Prasad and Nitish Kumar, who had been political force since a very long time. And then 2020, again, there was a lot of talk of jobs, a lot of talk of employment, performance of Tejashwi Yadav, a new RJD, a new Lalten, and all those things. Suddenly, this time, what we are seeing is a repetition of a lot of old things. For example, the primary campaign, the Jungle Raj campaign, is actually something which is almost 20 years old. And the jobs things, because in 2020 it was quite new, but in last 5 years there have been recruitments and other things. So this time I witnessed that the traction that Tejashwi Yadav had among the youth in 2020 election is not there. The kind of...
What does this also say, Veer, about the likes of a Tejashwi Yadav? Yeah. You know, it really seemed that 2020 was his big opportunity. Tejashwi is that. Yeah. I want to ask Rajan Pandey.
Add something.
One second. Mr. Pandey, tell us, what does your poll show about the performance of Prashant Kishore? Beyond just the headline numbers, what does it show on the ground about the kind of people, the kind of voters who voted for PK?
See, PK, we should look not... if we are evaluating PK, we should not evaluate PK on the basis of the vote percentage of the seats that he's getting at the end of everything. We should also see the trajectory of the whole thing. The Jan Swaraj has been doing a lot of things. And in terms of, now this is also very remarkable, in terms of the expenses that Jan Swaraj made, it should come into top 3. I mean, so much money they have spent. They have a very well-oiled organizational infrastructure, and there are branded cars, posters, rallies, everything with a very professional edge. But the momentum, and in fact, if you look at the issues, it's the PK's issues who are the most hit in Bihar. He is a guy who actually popularized this conception of some of the leaders who have criminal cases. He's the guy who has brought back the issue of employment and migration and things like that. And then when the iron is hot and you should hit it, at that very point of time, we see PK somewhere, just not giving his 100%. So that's quite surprising to me, because in Mokama...
You're suggesting that dal mein kuch kala hai. Do you think, Chetan, it will appear like that he built it up in a certain fashion, raised it to a tempo which seemed to be building to a crescendo, and then just kind of...
Well, there's all these conspiracy theories. Internet has nothing to do.
Give us your caste matrix. Yes.
Yes, in terms of the caste matrix, we shared the data with you. See, the thing is that in Bihar, as everybody else has pointed out, the thing is that everything boils down to caste, is what everybody has been saying. And if you just add the caste supporting particular alliances and the parties which are parts of those alliances, then NDA already has a clear edge. So I don't see why there is so much conflict about the idea that NDA is going to, win this election. Because if we just add up the caste supporting various castes and communities supporting various parties of the NDA, their social matrix is far more, far stronger, far bigger than the social metrics of the Mahagathbandhan.
Amit Shah thought in 2015, Ashok Malik, that he could change that, challenge that the BJP is strong enough to win alone, as he discovered when the BJP won just more than 50, that's not the case. Rajan Pandey says, you just look at the caste lineup at the starting point and you know how this election finishes. Is that what Bihar will always be about?
No, not just Bihar. I mean, if you look at UP last year, that was also a very clever class coalition building by the Samajwadi Party and the Congress together, which did eventually.
Why do you think Gadbandhan couldn't do it in Bihar?
Well, if you look at UP last year, just comparing UP last year to Gadbandhan this year, if these indeed are the results, the Muslim Yadav candidates were not at the forefront of the Samajwadi Party. They put together a vast sort of rainbow of candidates from different communities. I don't think the Mahagathbandhan or RJD did that.
That's a very basic and obvious thing to do. Rajan Pandey, why do you think they didn't do it? Especially because Akhilesh Yadav successfully laid out a template and a playbook in the Lok Sabha elections. Why did Tejashwi not follow it? So many Yadav candidates being given tickets versus, as Ashok pointing out, so many of the big faces of the SP are actually non-Yadavs, non-Muslims in 2024.
That's what surprises me also, because that was something which was tried and tested in Uttar Pradesh with success from one of the alliance partners of the India alliance, and that same formula could have been replicated. But there are two things for which I think Tejashwi could not do it. Number one, Tejashwi Yadav does not control the Yadav votes of Bihar like Akhilesh Yadav controls it in UP. So Akhilesh Yadav could say to Yadavs, okay, we are not going to give tickets to these many other, more than these numbers, and still the Yadavs will vote for Samajwadi Party. That could not happen in Bihar. In fact, in Bihar, if you look at Mithila and Simanchal regions, you'll find that Yadavs, whenever there is a candidate, a Muslim candidate or non-Yadav candidate from the Mahagathbandhan alliance partners, they actually vote in BJP. And this, in fact, in case of JDU also, JDU has shown that it could get Yadav votes with ease. One of the biggest strongmen of Kosi Simanchal region from the JDU side is Vijender Yadav, who has been there since last 30 years. So the type of control that Akhilesh Yadav commands in terms of the Yadav votes is not there. And secondly, we were talking about leadership of Tejashwi and his problems. If you talk to the RJD cadres in Bihar, you'll find that his biggest problem is his consultant Sanjay Yadav, his advisor Sanjay Yadav. I mean, I was surprised to see the sheer scale of RJD cadres who hate Sanjay Yadav. And to such an extent that actually there was a family feud between Misa Bharti and one of the sisters and Sanjay Yadav and Tejashwi Yadav and all.
No, so A, there is this entire family dynamic, Veer Sanghvi. The other is